may just fall off.
I don't even need your love.
And have you guys been listening to Good Kid, Mad City? I know it's early, but it sounds like a classic. Watch out for this kid, Kendrick Lamar. He's bringing real rap back. Speaking of which, let's play another off his joint. This one's called Poetic Justice.
Every second, every minute, man, I swear that she can get it. Say if you a bad bitch, put your hands up high. Hands up high. Hands up high. Tell them dim the lights down right now. Put me in the mood. I'm talking about dark room perfume. Go, go.
I recognize your fragrance, hold up, you ain't never gotta say it, and I know you taste this, a little bit, high maintenance, everybody else basic, you live life on an everyday basis, with poetic justice, poetic justice. If I told you that
Good Kid, Mad City turned Kendrick Lamar into a bona fide superstar. He had both commercial success and critical praise, which is an increasingly tough combination to achieve. And more importantly, he became a voice and example for his community. Despite the new fame and accolades, he said he was able to stay grounded because growing up, he always got attention.
You know, whether it was from the homies or whether it was from girls or whatever. So I take, you know, that same attention and I apply it with my lifestyle now. And this is what keeps me level-headed, to know that it was always there. It's not something that's new and I'm overwhelmed by it where my head is blown up and I gotta have 1,000 chains on. It's been there.
His biggest challenge was having worldwide success, but still wanting to remain true to his Compton roots. Every artistic masterpiece starts with some form of inspiration, and for Kendrick, it was a trip to South Africa in 2014. Kendrick toured the country and visited historic sites such as Nelson Mandela's jail cell, which broadened his worldview. He said, quote, "I didn't know Africa was going to be important for me until I went on the trip. This isn't the type of place you're taught to be excited about in public school growing up." He said one of the hardest things to do is put together a concept on how beautiful a place can be and tell a person while they're still in the ghettos of Compton. Kendrick wanted to put that experience in the music.
When I went to Africa and I got to see other people's problems, you know, they struggle maybe 10 times harder, you know, and was raised, you know, crazier than what I was. Going out there really inspired. I wrote a lot of records off the album just by visiting South Africa and being able to move around like I did. And that was the moment I knew, okay, I can either pimp this situation or I can fall victim to it. You know what I mean?
As he found new inspiration, Lamar scrapped 2 or 3 albums worth of material. Kendrick wanted to make music that reflected the sounds of his upbringing in Compton. He began to listen to the likes of Sly Stone and Miles Davis. Eventually, To Pimp a Butterfly took form, incorporating elements of jazz, funk, soul, spoken word, and hip-hop.
I was in the studio one day with my guy Terrence Martin, and he noticed something about the type of sounds that I was picking. In my whole catalog, from my mixtapes to my EPs to just my process of making my debut album to where I'm at now. He noticed the type of instruments I was picking. He was like, man, a lot of the chords that you pick are jazz influence. You're a jazz musician by default.
He said, quote, "As I've grown as an artist, I've learned that my mission statement is really self-expression. I don't want anybody to classify my music. I want them to say, this is somebody who's recognizing his true feelings, his true emotions, ideas, thoughts, opinions, and views on the world, all on one record. I want people to recognize that and take it and apply it to their own lives."
My process, it starts from just a whole bunch of premeditated thoughts. The process of me thinking about the ideas and what I want to say next. You know, and by the time I get into the studio, I have to find that exact sound that triggered the emotion or the idea that I thought about 2 months ago. A lot of my inspiration comes from meeting people or going outside of the country or going around the corner to my old neighborhood, talking to a 5-year-old little boy. Kids bug me out because they have no fear in nothing. My little niece, you know, she's 2 years old, but she fears nothing and she has no concept of reality as we know it. That always inspired me to write for some reason, man.
On March 15, 2015, Kendrick Lamar released To Pimp a Butterfly.
I got a bone to pick. I don't want you monkey mouth motherfucker sitting in my throne again. I'm mad, but I ain't stressing. True friends, one question. Bitch, where you and I was walking. Now I run the game, got the whole world talking. King Kunta, everybody wanna cut the legs off him.
I grew up watching this series called Roots. My family put me on. One of the characters was by the name of Kunta Kinte. And me basically remembering that and having my own journey in the music business and just playing off words, you know. This character, they actually chopped his foot off. And I played off words in that record, you know, no matter what type of acts or sword you bring in my way, you will never cut down the legs that's running, you know, by the forces of God.
To Pimp a Butterfly was a stark contrast to his major label debut with Good Kid, Mad City. While his first project was a concept album filled with radio hits, this follow-up project was heavier and covered topics like systematic racism, depression, fame, and survivor's guilt. To best understand the impact of To Pimp a Butterfly, you have to take a look back in time and analyze the political and social climate of America in 2015. A lot of the concerns and issues in that year are the exact same as today.
The officers move in to arrest him. One of them puts his forearm around Garner's neck. More police join in, pinning him to the ground as he cries out.
There is growing outrage tonight after an unarmed African-American teenager was shot and killed by police in the St. Louis suburb of Ferguson, Missouri.
You are in the streets, blocking the roadway. You are unlawfully assembled. You need to disperse immediately or you will be subject to arrest. Do it now.
To Pimp a Butterfly serves as a capsule of American political turmoil. He describes what it's like to be black in America, with the goal to educate and inspire. Given the events following its release, the album timing was perfect.
These songs, I couldn't make these songs after these events happened. It's too intricate. You know what I'm saying? I would have to go back in the studio. My album wouldn't be out right now. I would have to go back in the studio and formulate, you know, the process of working. With that being said, it's not even me. This is God's work. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm glad it happened that way. We have a message to thrive off of, you know, rather just constantly looking at the news and when we feeling victim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't want to feel like a victim anymore?
I don't want to feel like a victim.
Okay.
I don't want to feel like a victim.
And when I wake up, I recognize you looking at me for the pay cut. Bahamas, I be looking at you from the face down. One Mac 11, even boom with the bass down.
All Right became and is a rallying cry for the Black Lives Matter movement. It's an anthem of positivity and reassurance that better days are ahead. On this album, Kendrick also points the mirror back at himself and his community. On The Blacker the Berry, which is one of the most powerful songs Kendrick has ever released, he comes to terms with the realization that powerful parts of America hate him simply because of the color of his skin.
I'm African American, I'm African, I'm black as the heart of a fucking Aryan. I'm black as the name of Tyrone and Darius. Excuse my French, but fuck you, no fuck y'all. That's as blunt as it gets. I know you hate me, don't you?
This is a no-filter cathartic venting, part of a long tradition that includes Public Enemy and Kanye West. At the beginning of each verse, he confesses to being, quote, the biggest hypocrite of 2015. But we don't understand what he means until the very end of the song, when he raps.
So why did I weep when Trayvon Martin was in the street? When gang banging make me kill a nigga blacker than me? Hypocrite.
I'm not speaking to the community. I'm not speaking of the community. I am the community. Mm-hmm. My homeboys, those are my real homeboys on my album cover. They still over there. Mm-hmm. You know, no matter how much I want to bring them back and take them to other places, they still embody that. You know, that's them. So when I say these lines, it's for myself. This is therapeutic for myself because I still feel that urge and I still feel that anger and that hatred for this man next door because I got to get a call knowing that somebody around the corner done did this to my partner. I still feel it.
The album closes with a striking 12-minute finale where Kendrick Lamar discusses the state of our current social climate with the late Tupac Shakur, using audio excerpts from a rare 1994 interview between Tupac and the host of a Swedish radio show.
I wanted to ask you, what you think is the future for me and my generation today?
I think that niggas is tired of grabbing shit out the stores, and next time it's a riot, it's gonna be like bloodshed, for real. I don't think America know that. I think America think we was just playing. It's gonna be some more playing, but it ain't gonna be no playing. It's gonna be murder. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be like Nat Turner, 1831, up in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna happen.
The only hope that we kind of have left is music and vibrations. A lot of people don't understand how important it is. You know, sometimes I can like get behind a mic and I don't know what type of energy I'm gonna push out or where it comes from. Trip me out sometimes.
To Pimp a Butterfly sold 324,000 copies in the US in its first week of release, debuting at number 1 on the charts. It earned Lamar 11 nominations at the 2016 Grammy Awards, including a win for Best Rap Album.
Winning awards and accolades is great, but it's not confirmation of success for me. You know what I'm saying? Going out here and looking at a kid that say, this song changed my life. I was going to do something to myself last night, you know, but I popped this tape in. That's confirmation.
This is one of the most significant hip-hop albums of all time, and it's the crystallized moment when Kendrick became the most potent artist in his generation. Fortunately, we didn't have to wait long for more music, because the following year, on March 4, 2016, Kendrick released an 8-track project of holdovers from the recording sessions for To Pimp a Butterfly. He named the project Untitled Unmastered.
Love won't get you high as this. Drugs won't get you high as this. Fame won't get you high as this. Chains won't get you high as this. Juice won't get you high as this. Crew won't get you high as this. Hate won't get you high as this. Levitate, 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 levitate. Love won't get you high as this.
This compilation album feels very much like To Pimp a Butterfly, but there's still a bit of the newer Kendrick in there too. Untitled Unmastered received widespread acclaim from critics and debuted at number 1 on the US Billboard 200, giving him his second chart-topping set in less than a year. Not long after that, he blessed us with his 4th studio album and my personal favorite Kendrick project. On April 14, 2017, he released Damn.
I've been stumped out in front of my mama. My daddy commissary made it to commas. Bitch, all my grandma's dead, so ain't nobody praying for me, I'm on your head, ayy. 30 millions later, know the feds watching. Auntie on my telegram like, be cautious. I be hanging out at Thames, I be on Stockton. I don't do it for the gram, I do it for Compton. I'm willing to die for the shit, nigga. I take your fucking life for the shit, nigga. We ain't going back to broke, family selling dope. That's why you many-ass rap niggas better know.
Damn's an album all about Lamar feeling like a hypocrite. He's aware that he's perceived by many as the savior of hip-hop, and many view him as a godlike figure, but he's really just a normal, twisted person like everyone else.
All I can, do is continue to be an actual human being and then to show them that, I go through the same emotions and the same, feelings that y'all go through. So if they, put that as being the leader of this generation, then so be it, because all I can do is express myself and hope you take something from it.
To get a sense of where Lamar is coming from on Damn, it's interesting to juxtapose the cover of To Pimp a Butterfly and this project. The former is a triumphant image of Lamar surrounded by his boys from the hood as they stand on the front lawn of the White House just outside its gates.
It's really taking, people from my neighborhood and taking them around the world and letting them see things that I've experienced.
The latter cover was released just months into Donald Trump's presidency and features a close-up of Lamar alone in a white tee, looking defeated and depressed. His eyes are hollow and lifeless. Throughout Damn, Kendrick is searching for answers. Everyone sees him as anointed, but he needs prayers as much as anyone else.
Ain't nobody praying, ain't nobody praying for me. Ain't nobody praying for me.
Ain't nobody praying for me.
Many of the tracks on Damn allude to the 7 deadly sins. While each individual song stands on its own, they come together to create a scripture-inspired collection used to question one's life path. Instead of being a call to action, the album posits introspection.
Damn will be the idea, I can't change the world until I change myself. You know, so when you listen to records like Pride, Humble, Lust, Love, these is all just human emotions. And me looking in the mirror and coming to grips with them.
In an interview with Vanity Fair, Kendrick said most of the kids he knew from elementary school are either dead or in jail. He said he was more grounded because he had a mother and a father in the home. Lamar said, quote, "It makes a huge difference. It shows you loyalty. To have a mother and a father in your household showed me immediately that anything is possible." Perhaps the strongest track on Damn is the album closer, Duckworth, which is a reference to his last name.
It was always me versus the world, until I found it's me versus me.
It tells the story of the connection of his father, known as Ducky, and his label boss, Anthony Top Dog Tiffett, who used to be a gangbanger that would frequent KFC where Ducky worked. This is the same KFC that Top Dog had stuck up a few years ago when he killed a manager and maybe even a few customers. When Ducky found out about this, he made sure he was on Anthony's good side by giving him free chicken and extra biscuits. When Anthony did eventually hold up the restaurant again, he and his friends made sure not to kill Ducky. This song is a reminder that one decision can affect the entire trajectory of one's life and the lives of those around it. This is also Kendrick putting the final nail in the idea that he is a Jesus figure, by indicating his success is due in part to coincidence, and he could just as easily not exist.
Then you start reminding them about that chicken incident. Whoever thought the greatest rapper would be from coincidence? Because if Anthony killed Ducky, Top Dog could be serving life while I grew up without a father and die in a gunfight.
And since a kid, man, I always said to myself, bro, anything is possible. And it always comes around tenfold, 100% confirmation. And that story is confirmation.
Kendrick earned a #1 single with Humble, and Damn proved to be a critical and commercial smash. It debuted at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and he scooped up the Grammy for Best Rap Album in 2018. Damn also made history as the first non-classical and non-jazz album to be awarded a Pulitzer Prize, making Kendrick the first rapper to ever get that honor. Since Damn's release, Lamar's achievements expanded to the film arena, when Lamar was tapped to curate and produce original songs for Marvel's Black Panther soundtrack in 2018. But since then, Kendrick has essentially been on ghost mode, so a big question remains. Where is Kendrick Lamar? This past March, Kendrick resurfaced on social media to announce the launch of PG Lang, a mysterious ad-service creative company alongside director Dave Free. In May, TDE CEO Anthony Top Dog Tiffett said in a social media post, quote, "Stay patient, King Kendrick will return soon." When George Floyd's death became a massive moment earlier this year, some people were upset that Kendrick didn't re-emerge to actively talk about the situations. But I think he felt like he'd already spoken on it with To Pimp a Butterfly. That album was ahead of its time, and that's by design. He creates albums that are built to last.
This album has to teach, not only in these times, but for the future, you know? To understand our history, what we was going through in 2010, 2012, 2014, 15, and when you can go back and you can apply that knowledge with whatever's going on in the future, that right there is going to help the next individual, the next Kendrick Lamar, the next kid on the corner to make whatever situation they're in a better situation, not only for themselves, but for those around them.
In September, a number of clips were shared online that show Lamar being filmed as he's suspended by a crane over the ocean. And not long after that, he was spotted shooting a new music video in LA, which could signal the arrival of new music from the rapper. Lastly, it should be mentioned that a year ago, Kendrick had his first child, a daughter, with his high school sweetheart and partner, Whitney Alford. And I think it's safe to speculate that a lot of his time and attention has been spent with his kid.
When you're doing this, it comes a lot of sacrifice. You're gonna miss a lot of birthdays. You're gonna miss a lot of moments. Me not learning to find the balance, it always was a stress.
It's impossible to know where he's been and when he's returning. There's no set path for Kendrick, and there never has been. Regardless, his work represents some of the most significant music being produced, and has made him, in my opinion, the most important voice in hip-hop today. Kendrick is already considered one of the greatest rappers of all time, and he's arguably the most well-rounded rapper in the game. His songwriting ability, reflective yet poignant style, and mainstream appeal make him a staple in hip-hop. I think the Mount Rushmore of 2010's rap would probably look something like Kendrick, Kanye, Drake, and J. Cole. Not just because of their rap ability, but more so their influence on the culture. I think Kanye's best for artistry and innovation, Drake is best for clubbing and partying, J. Cole is best for healing and educating, and Kendrick is just the leader of the culture. I think out of those four, Kendrick is the best storyteller. If you were to just read his lyrics without music, it would read like smooth poetry. And that's the reason he won a Pulitzer Prize. He has this remarkable ability to put into words what it's like to grow up as he did. Lamar's mission extends beyond making good sounding music. His goal is to educate and inspire. And that's why Kendrick is such a compelling artist. He's able to do this without ever being preachy.
The things that we say on record, you know, it goes down to the street and the kids believe this stuff, man.
In hip-hop's earliest stages, the culture was used as a way to spread knowledge in inner cities to those who had been marginalized by society. But after Tupac and Nas, there was almost a decade without a commanding voice to the people in need of guidance. If anyone, Kendrick has gotten closest to claiming this title. Lamar has every societal right to be cocky, yet he remains humble and sincere, and perhaps that's because he recognizes his faults and mortality. The philosopher Aristotle once said, "The more you know you don't know." I'm thankful Kendrick is the rapper of my generation, and he's the GOAT in my book. I know he's made his people, his city, and his mom proud.
I hope you come back and learn from your mistakes. And come back a man. Tell your story to these black and brown kids in Compton. Let them know you was just like them, but you still rose from that dark place of violence, becoming a positive person. But when you do make it, give back with your words of encouragement. And that's the best way to give back to your city. And I love you, Kendrick.
This what God feel like. Laughing to the bank like, ah.